Hey, yo, welcome to the State Road Show. So today I'm going to get into solitary confinement, aka the hole, the effects, what you go through back there, and the lingering effects of when you get out of it. Before I do that, I would like to thank everybody that subscribed to my channel so far, showing me love. And if you enjoy the content I'm pushing out, please hit the subscribe button. Now let's ride on this. Now, I'm going to talk about my longest stretch, which was 9 months. So this happened in Bucks County, which is a suburb of Philly. And for whatever reason, the guards, the inmates up there, they don't mess with Philly like that. They don't like us like that. I don't know why. Maybe it's the way we are, way we talk, whatever. But being so close, you wouldn't think that was the case. So I'm going to give you the quick setup of what landed me back there, then I'm going to get into it. So I was on the intake block, and the intake block had like these 4 or 5 dudes that were there for months. Now, you're only supposed to be on this intake block for a couple days until they find a spot for you. But some dudes, make it their extended stay. And that happens because they either don't want to go to general population, or they, sign up for little bullshit block jobs, which is really none. They don't really do anything. They're just there. They stay there. They got pulled with the guards or whatever. They just stay on the block. So anyway, I had this cellie, of course. So me and this cellie, older black guy, we got along really good. He was a really great dude. He was a real down-to-earth guy. So we, everything's great. So there's another Philly dude on the block. Me and him were clicked up, we're chilling. We're both from Philly. He's from South Philly. I'm from Kensington, this and that. So my cellie, I go in, and he goes, yo, man, I'm missing some soups. Man, I can't tell you how much I hate that shit. When something's stolen around me, I cannot stand when that shit happens. Right, so I'm like, you're missing some soups? What? So I'm going out to investigate. So I tell my boy, yo, there was 2 TVs on the block. There was one upstairs and one downstairs. So I said, yo, do me a favor. I'm going to cut off this TV down here because everybody was watching TV. I'm going to cut off this TV down here. You cut off the TV up there, and I'm going to make an announcement. So we do that, and I'm like, yo, whoever went my fucking cellie's cell and took them soups, they better be there before lunchtime, or you better hand them back to them before lunchtime. I'm going to find out who did it, and you already know what it is. I said, that's some dope fiend shit. And I was talking to these dudes, because I could just tell what type of dudes they were. So one dude gets offended. Yo, what the fuck you mean dope fiend and this and that and this and that? Guilty. As soon as you do some shit like that, as soon as you address the person that's addressing everybody, it's you. So I said, you know what the fuck I mean. What's up? So we get into a little, nothing happens that day. So the guy that was my cellie had some pull with the guards and this and that, so the guards run the tape back. And it turns out it was him. But he said, oh, I only went in his cell because he always lets me go in his cell, blah, blah, blah. So I find out it's him. He lives on the top tier, so as soon as my cellie finds out it was him, he was trying to frame me, set me up to get me off the block. So as soon as I found that out, I went straight up to him, boom, stole right off on him, broke his jaw, I found out later, put him straight on stroll duty. So they locked me up, this and that. I'm tussling like a little bit with him and this and that because I'm amped. So they put me back in the hole. So I go for my hearing, they give me 90 days back there. Damn, 90 days for a fight? It's usually 30. But they hit me with resisting. They hit me with whatever the charge was, fighting with bodily injury because I broke the dude's jaw. That's when they told me I broke the dude's jaw. So you have like an inmate attorney sitting there where you're trying to plead your case and this and that. And he's sitting there, and the guy's listening to him more than he's listening to me. So he goes, what happened, this and that. I said, you got cameras in this place. You seen exactly what happened. Why'd you resist the officer? Because I was amped. And, this and that. I lost the case. I had no defense. I did it on camera, did it in front of the cops. broad, it would be considered broad daylight if we were on the street. All right, so I'm in the hole. Now, when you're in the hole, especially in this place, you have your sheets, you have a towel, a washcloth, a little bar of soap they call Lisa soap. I'm sure you probably heard of it in other videos. A little toothbrush you put on your finger. Brush your teeth with it. Gel toothpaste and this and that. Nothing to read, and you got toilet paper. That's it. So the first month I'm cool. It sucks, but I got this dude right next door to me who's a door kicker. Now, anybody that's been locked up, and especially in the hole, the door kicker. And I had to be right next to this dude. So, but I understand what he was going through. He wound up being administrated to the hole, which means you're back there until further notice. You might not get out of the hole. Because he was infamous for flooding his cell, kicking the door, giving the cops problems, this and that. He was just one of them dudes. And of course, he's right next door to me. I'm not going to lie, it was entertaining sometimes, some of the shit that he did and was saying to the guards. You got to look for what you got to look for back there with entertainment. So they feed you at 4:30 in the morning, breakfast. They bring you either a bag, whatever it is that morning, hard-boiled eggs, bread, a milk, things like that. They feed you less in the hole than they do in GP on purpose to make it a deterrent, to not go to the hole, to not get in trouble. In this 9-month stretch, I must have lost, I think it was like 30 pounds. Like, it was, I was a thin dude back then anyway. I think I came out of the hole like 170, 168, some shit like that. When I went back there, I was like 190. So like they feed you the bare minimum. They feed you mad early. So the last meal you'll get that night is about 4:15, 4:30 on a late day. And I wanted it to be late as possible. Now, if you don't save something from each meal, you're going to be in trouble, like throughout the night. And for some reason, I was just never good at that. Like when the tray came, I ate that shit. I demolished that shit. It was because you're so hungry. Like, think about it. 4:30 in the afternoon to 4:30 overnight. Like that's a long time without eating. It might not sound like it, but it's a long time without eating, especially when you're back there. So they got this whole attendant. It was an inmate who, if you need something or whatever, you need a book or you want to check out, the books were nothing to check out. So I get about 90 days in, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. Like I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. I'm not even thinking I'm coming close to getting out of here, but I'm like 80 something days in. So I'm going so out of my mind from the isolation and not getting out of the cell because you have 2 ways to get out. Well, actually 3. You got 3 ways to get out of the cell. They take you to mental health, I think once every 2 weeks or something like that. You can go outside in the single like dog cage. You've probably seen them. You can go out there for an hour. A lot of times it's raining. You don't want to go out there. So like, I would just say, man, fuck going out there. I don't want to see the sun. I don't want to see the sky. I don't want to be reminded of the outside because in the hole, your little strip window is like covered with something. Like they painted over it or whatever the hell they did with it. Like you barely get any sunlight back there. Like the only way you get any kind of relief if you get a hole officer that'll sit there and play some music. So a lot of times the dudes upstairs, they go out of their mind. They're pissed off. It messes with you mentally so bad because all you have is your thoughts. And eventually those thoughts get to, man, what the fuck can I do to fuck with them? What can I do to get revenge for the treatment that I'm getting back here? What can I do? So like I said, I'm 80 some days in. I get the bright idea, man, listen, I'm trying to get moved to the mental health block or something. Like, I got to get out of this hole. Like, enough is enough. I'm losing mad weight. Like, I'm going through it mentally. All I'm thinking about is my family. Like, I'm just going through it. So I decide to fake a seizure. That's crazy. So I like pull my pants down a little bit, like I fell off the toilet, right? So I like put myself on the ground and I bang on the door real hard. No response. Nobody responds. The officer didn't respond, and I punched the door hard. So I do it again. Finally got the block attendant's attention. He comes, sees me laid out on the floor. So the cop comes up. Oh, we got a man down, this and that. It takes a sweet ass time to call it in or whatever. Like, I could have died. Like, if I was really having a seizure or if a heart attack, anything, I could have died. So they call them. All the nurses come. They're checking me out. They're like tapping my face, like, yo, 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 yo. I finally wake up and I act like I'm out of it. So anyway, they wheel me to medical. They check me out. They knew I was faking by the symptoms that I said I had. Like, I'm like, oh, where am I? Like, what's going on? Like, I didn't know how to fake a seizure, but like I was gonna try to get over to the mental health and medical part. So they're accusing me of faking a seizure, this and that. Oh, there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. I'm like, well, what the fuck just happened to me then? I'm still playing the role because, like I said, I'm out of my mind. I'm trying to get out of the hole. I'm trying to go to the medical. I said, well, something happened to me. No, you're fine. Get him out of here. So the way she said, get him out of here, I said, what the fuck you say? I used B word. What the fuck you say, B? Who the fuck you think you're talking to, this and that? So the cop, puts his hand on my chest and this and that. At this point, I'm cuffed in the front. So I'm fucking so enraged that I know I'm going back in that cell. And I'm throwing one more thing in. Every time you leave your cell, for whatever reason, they shake it down. Like if somebody, if the blockade gave you an extra sheet, an extra towel or whatever like that, they're going in there and taking all of that. Like at one point I was reading a fucking newspaper from months ago. They took that. They took this. They took that. So anyway, the fucking guard puts his hand on my chest, this and that. I'm cuffed in the front at this point. So they're taking me back to the block, and like they're about to open the door, and I'm still cuffed in the front, which usually you're cuffed in the back. I'm cuffed in the front. So like they tell me turn around because they're gonna search me before I go back in the hole. They search you when you come out of the hole. You got to put both hands through the food slot. They search you when you're about to go back in your cell. So I just had enough. So I turned around and I said, what the fuck you got to search me again for? So I kind of backed up a little bit. He pins me against the wall. So I'm like talking shit. So I spin around and I put my hands in his chest and I drive him to the wall. Now I don't know where all these cops came from. Next thing you know, I got like 7 cops in front of me. One with his fist right in my throat. So I'm like steering this dude who's got his fist right in my throat. All the rest of them are around. I'm out of my mind. I'm fucking 170 pounds at this point. But I still got my strength that I usually have. So I'm like fucking toggling this guard around. It was what it was. Like, that's what I was doing. So 7 guards are on me, this and that. I'll give them credit. They didn't fuck me up. They could have fucked me up because I had hands on this dude, and he was a toy to me at that point. So I can see they're about to spray me. And I've been pepper sprayed a few times, and I don't want to go through that shit. So the whole thing ended. I went in my cell. That was it. The next brilliant idea I had, they send you to mental health, like I said. So I go to mental health. She's asking me how I'm holding up. They always ask you, are you suicidal or homicidal? I don't want to say the words, of course. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm just, like I said, out of my mind. So she's like, you feeling those ways? I said, not today. She said, well, what do you mean by that? You feel like doing something to yourself? I said, no. She said, you feel like doing something to other people? I said, sometimes, yeah. Wrong move. If you're in front of those people, don't ever say anything like that. So I go back to the block. Well, she talked to the cops and this and that. They take me back to the block. Next thing I know, I'm in my cell. They turn all the lights on, tell me to strip my clothes. I put them through the thing. I'm like, what the fuck going on? They hand me this green, it's called a turtle suit. It's like this material, like that, like the material over bulletproof vest. So you got to wear that. It's about like mid-thigh high and no shirt, completely naked with the lights on all day. They put you on S-Watch. Like, I just made this thing harder on myself. So I'm sitting there. I go through that for like 4 days, the light constantly being on 24 hours a day with me with this turtle suit on. I'm curling up in this thing, trying to get my leg. I'm like bunched together, trying to stay warm because it's freezing back there also. It's just everything in a ball you can imagine to like make it as miserable and as torturous as possible. They do to you. So I go to the hearing for the scuffle I had with the cops and the thing I said to the nurse when she was like, he's nothing wrong with him, get him out of here. So I go in front of the board again. I get another 90 days. So now I'm just flipping out. Like this is crazy. Like, so I got somebody sitting outside my door watching me as I'm naked with this little turtle suit on, going through it. I'm cursing him out, threatening him. Like, the guards are coming, this ain't helping your case. Like, you were cool, what the fuck happened to you? I said, being in here fucking happened to me. Like, oh, you were about to get out, you fucked that up. So they're talking shit to me, this and that. So I think it was 4 to 7 days, I can't remember. They finally took me off that watch. So I go to another hearing, like I said, 90 days for that. Cool. So now I'm flipped out. I'm flooding my cell. I'm taking my whole roll of toilet paper, stuffing it in the toilet, flushing. And usually when you flush like that, the COs know you're trying to flood the block. And a lot of people were successful, like with shit falling. So I'm flooding my cell, this and that. They got to take me out of the cell. So they put me in the shower. I get another 90 days for that. So I'm just sitting there and I'm like, one of the darkest times of my life, and I've been through a lot. That was one of the darkest times of my life. And I just decided, I said, you know what? I'm keeping myself back here. I'm really messing up right now. I need to just fall back and just, go through this torture and just get the fuck out of here. So I wound up completing my 9 months. Man, I'm telling you, there's a bill being introduced in Pennsylvania that for certain things like fighting and dirty urine and things like that, you can only do up to 15 days in solitary confinement, which is enough in itself. Believe me, once you're in there, you would know. But yeah, man, the hole is not the place to be. Jail is not the place to be. Prison is not the place to be. Always try to leave you guys with a moral. God forbid you ever get locked up. Just follow the rules. I always preach, like, if you get pressed, handle your business. Handle your business. Because your stay in jail is just going to be so much worse. But if you can avoid it without looking like a bitch and getting taken advantage of, do it. Because you don't want to go back there in that dungeon. It's horrible. I've been in the hole in Philly a bunch of times, things like that. They were always shorter. Like I said, 30 days here and there. But that right there was torture. Like, I still think about that to this day. But yeah, man, be careful. Don't go to jail. If you're living that life, man, at least consider changing your life. Because these are the types of things that are in store for you. And this is why I do my channel. Anyway, If you like the video, please like the video. If you ever been in the hole, please tell me about it in the comments section, even though I already know basically what you're going to say. Subscribe if you enjoy the content. Once again, this is Kenzo, State Roadshow. And remember, it's cuffing season. Don't give them no fucking reason. I'm out.